Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jared Glant, and we are back for another episode of Young Hustlers right here on the Cardone Zone. The purpose of the show is to help you keep that young hustle strong. There's a lot of challenges that you're going to run into, and fortunate for me, I've had the opportunity to work next to the Grant Cardone and learn a lot about how to actually go out and be more successful. I think that if you're watching this show, you probably are in alignment with that you actually want to do better and you want to do more than you're doing right now. And this show, the sole purpose of this show is to equip you with the skills, the tools, and the strategies that you need to go out in the marketplace and be super successful. Want to make a quick shout out to the Cardone Kern agency. We just had a single day record for new clients brought on. We built this advertising company here. Grant partnered with Frank Kern, and we are literally, it's like deals are on fire. So what does that mean for you? That means if you are looking for a big opportunity with a company who is going big places, then you can submit your 60-second video and resume to careers@grantcardone.com and make sure you put ad sales or ad department in the subject line. Careers@grantcardone.com, 60-second video and a resume. All right, today we are going to talk about mistakes that employees make. Okay? If you have questions on mistakes you may be making, or if you are an employer and you have employees, I want to hear from you. Call into the show, 305-865-8668, 305-865-8668. Over the last weekend, we had our executive summit as well as our two-day deep dive. Two of probably my most favorite events that we've ever put on. I know I've said that about boot camp. I know I say that about GrowthCon, but they're all so different, and they're all so impactful in different ways, different and more meaningful ways. And so we did our two-day deep dive where we basically help companies and business owners break down and reassemble their process so that it's systemized and it works together with their company values, their mission, and obviously will acquire more customers for them. And then the second 2 days, we did our executive scaling summit, our executive strategy summit. Now, this is where our partner Brandon Dawson came in and talked about what you must do and what you must have in your business if you want to grow. So Cardone Ventures is a new company of ours, and what we do in Cardone Ventures is we basically supply the business owner, businesses that are doing 250, 500, 750,000, maybe $1 million a year, and you're ready to go to the next level. First thing we provide you with is the education, the tools, the resources to actually do it. The second thing that we do at Cardone Ventures is that company is actually built to partner with companies. So it's like, if you have a company that's doing $2 or $3 million a year right now, but you know it could be 30, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, I know it could be 30, but I know that I can't do it on my own, and you want to partner with Grant and our team at Cardone Ventures, then we have an opportunity to partner there. And the reason that we are able to scale these companies so fast is because we, in Cardone Ventures, have developed and designed a curriculum and a business methodology that allows for scale, right? So it's not just building a business. Like, you have to build a business, and then you have to make your business run efficiently, and then you have to start adding people, and you have to use a model that continued to be scaled and not break as you grow. And so it was an amazing 4 days total. But really what I want to focus on is, if you're an employee in an organization, what are like the big mistakes that you can make? So let's put business owner aside right now. If you work for somebody else right now, I want to go through the top 3 mistakes that you are likely making that are going to ultimately result in you being unsatisfied, unfulfilled, and maybe even out of a job. So the number 1 mistake that you're making right now as an employee is you have no goals at all, or even bad goals. So what do I mean by this? Something I've been talking about a lot lately, because I've been more focused on my own goals, and I typically, whenever I start talking about something, it's because it's on my mind. Little insider secret there. So what I did is I actually went through and I spent like 2 or 3 hours going through and really focused on, man, I'm 35 right now. When I'm 50, what do I want my life to look like? What is the ideal life? If everything were perfect, if everything went the way that it planned, what do I want that life to look like? What do I want my mind, like, where do I want to be mentally? Where do I want to be with my family? Where do I want to be, like, do I want to be worried about things? Do I want to be stressed out about things? How much money would it take for me to have in the bank to have the security to know that I don't ever have to worry about money, my family doesn't have to worry about money, my kids don't have to worry about money, right? So then I start going through and I really start actually itemizing each of the things that I want and what would be nice to have. Like, it'd be great to live somewhere for 2 months, out of the year, twice a year. Different places. It'd be great to go on a vacation every 3 months and see someplace new around the world. And then I would get specific. Well, where would you go? Where would you want to go? And so I mapped out like year 1, year 2, year 3. And I went through and I was like, well, I want to go to these 4 places this year, and then these 4 places this year, and then these 4 places this year. And then I want to be able to go here and on this thing. And then I start going and I start looking at the hotels there and the resorts there. And I start looking at what it costs to rent like a luxury home there. And I start actually like getting in real touch with how amazing that would be. I started getting into contact with the goal. I started being able to see it and feel it and touch it, and then work that back to how much that's actually going to cost, right? We had a joke that we were talking about over the 4-day summit, and we were talking about goals, and the question came up, well, what happens if somebody, they come in my office and they say that they want to make, their goal is to make $1 gazillion, or they want to be worth a trillionaire, or they want to be a trillionaire. And we had like a ha-ha laugh about it. But it's a perfect example of a bad goal. Like, it's a bad goal because it's not probably attainable. And working back down to what do I do today to get on the track to do that is very hard. And so, good goals, not just a goal, but good goals are the most important thing. And so if you haven't taken the time to figure out what you really want, like, stop everything that you're doing right now. Don't read a new book. Don't take a new class, don't go anywhere, don't talk to anybody, don't do anything trying to improve or better yourself until you get clear on what you want. I promise you it'll change. That's not the point. What you need to do is in the moment that you're in right now, with your skills and everything that you have right now, you need to think, hey, 20 years from now, what do I want my life to look like? 10 years from now, I'm going to have a lot more skill, a lot more experience, and probably much higher potential and capability than I do today. So when I do this exercise 10 years from now, my goals will 100% be different. Along the way, if I look at the time that I spent with Grant, my goals constantly change, and your goals should change as your potential grows, as your skills grow, as your capabilities grow. Your goals should continue to grow and change too. And that's why you need to spend some time periodically, not spending the deep dive every day. Remind yourself every day of these goals by writing them out, but you need to spend some time, maybe 2 or 3 times a year doing the deep dive. If you have a big loss, if you're really struggling with motivation, spend a Sunday and do the deep dive on goals. Because that is the most powerful thing you can have at life. It gives you clarity, it gives you vision, it gives you focus, it gives you direction, and it gives you confidence in what you're doing every day. So if you feel a little lost, it's probably because you got no freaking idea where you're going. If you feel like you're wasting time and you're just spinning circles, I promise you it's because you don't have the path in front of you. And you can't have the path without the destination. So you need to figure out what the destination is and work your way all the way back. So number one mistake that you make as an employee working for somebody else is you have no goals or you have bad goals. Okay? Number 2, you work currently for a company that has no shot at getting you where you want to go. Like 0 chance. People hit me up. That's probably one of the most frequent questions that I get on Instagram. By the way, at Jared Glant on Instagram. If you DM me, I will respond. I'm pretty good with that. I don't post a ton, but I always get through all my DMs. So if you have questions there, ask them. If you ask and I don't respond, it was probably a stupid question, so try to ask the question in a different way. But you work for a company that can't get you where you want to go. There's only 2 reasons to work somewhere. And I tell people, it's my canned response every single time people ask me anything about a job. There's only 2 reasons to work somewhere. Because of the money that you make for working there, or because of the experience or the education that you're going to get being an employee there. Those are the only two reasons. You shouldn't work somewhere because it's fun. You should work somewhere because it moves you forward because of what you learn there. You know, like you could go work for Google and make $100,000 a year, or you could go start your own business and make $250,000. But I'll tell you, you're going to learn things working for Google, making $100,000 a year that you will never be exposed to and never learn trying to do it on your own. So people ask me, they say, well, you know, hey, I've got this job where I can make more money, or I got this job where I can make less, but there's a big opportunity. You need to go back down to what can I learn and what can I earn? Those are the two most important factors in deciding where you want to work. Now, once you figure out, hey, I can learn a whole bunch there, then what's the target for that? How does that fit into the long-term vision and the destination that you're trying to hit? You should be able to see, hey, I'm going to learn this skill here, and this skill here is going to make me more able to get to that destination. If you're not getting paid and you're not learning anything, and you've already done number one, which is set a good goal, then you're probably not in the right job. Okay? But if you're not learning and you're not making money, but you don't have goals, shame on you. Your fault. You haven't decided what you want to get out of that opportunity. So it's so important that you jump in, you make a decision, you decide that today I'm going to move closer to that target. But if I don't know what that target is, it will be impossible for me to take intentional, focused, massive levels of action in that direction. So if a company can't get you what you want or contribute to getting you where you want to go, and you have your goals dialed, then you are not in the right position, right? And so this is one thing that we try to do here is we try to say, hey, look, we want to provide people the opportunity to learn, and we want to provide them the opportunity to earn. That's why Natalie and her team in customer service can make commission. That's why anybody in here, Francisco, Johnny, the camera guy, they can all get paid commission when they sell stuff. Because we want them to have the opportunity to learn and grow, and we want them to have the opportunity to make money. That's the ideal situation. And we're hiring right now. We're hiring for the agency, Cardone Kern. We're hiring for Cardone Training Technologies to work alongside me and Grant. We're hiring for Cardone Ventures, our new partnership that will actually begin buying and building a portfolio of companies. It's going to be completely out of this world. We're going to do something in this organization that nobody has ever done before in the space that we're in. And it will change the game. And I'm more confident and certain of that now than ever. And I know that now I got to start modifying my future target because I just got new capabilities, I got new resources, and I got new skills that just got loaded up in me. So the bar just keeps rising, right? Now, if you want to be a part of that, send a 60-second video and a resume to careers@grantcardone.com. I'm kind of joking, but for real. You need to know that when you wake up, you are going and you are driving into an office for an organization that will get you where you want to go. And if you're not, then you need to make a change. You either need to make a change here with yourself and get clear on what it is you want so that you can take steps towards getting that, or you need to find an organization that can provide you with the opportunity and the education that you're looking for, which will ultimately get you where you want to go faster. Number 3, biggest mistake you are making as an employee is you do not create enough value in your role to be offered additional opportunity within your existing company. Think about that. If you have all those things together, you have your goals in line. You have the company you work for provides you with an opportunity to do both things, which is to learn and to make money, but you're still not getting the opportunity that you want. Guess whose fault that is? Yours. Your fault. It's your fault because you haven't created enough value. It's your fault because you haven't gotten enough of an education. It's your fault because you hadn't seen the opportunity and gotten hungry enough about chasing the opportunity that you're actually willing to change what you're doing. So don't have these pity party sob stories about, oh, my job, it's so this, it's so that. Dude, the problem is 95% you. There are a lot of great companies out there. A lot of great companies that have opportunity. Some more than others, I'll give you that. But what there's a lack of is there's a lack of people who actually know how to go into a company with goals and intention to get where they want to go and use the company as a vehicle to get where they want to go. We spent a lot of time talking about this. Like, one of the things that's so important to Grant is that he can look back and know that within his organization, people got closer to reaching their goals and dreams. That's what he wants to get out of this company. He's like, man, like when people leave and they were doing really well here and they leave and they do worse, it kills him. It kills him because he knew that they had an opportunity to do something unbelievable here, but they missed it and they squandered it. And for Grant, he's missed opportunities in his life before. And there's nothing in life that costs you more than a missed opportunity. Nothing. 3 mistakes. Are you making any of these 3 mistakes? Number 1, no goals or bad goals. Number 2, you're in an organization that cannot provide you with what you want. It cannot provide you with advancement towards what you want. And then number 3, are you adding enough value? Are you developing your skill? Are you hungry enough to where you're the one that people always give opportunities to do better and to do more? Time for the gut check. Can you be honest with yourself and answer these questions? Natalie, let's go to some callers on the phone.
Yes, of course. You've got Alex in Canada.
Alex from Canada. Hey, Alex, thanks for calling Young Hustlers. What is your question today?
Hey.
I think we lost Alex.
As pretty much you guys are changing a whole generation coming up, like philanthropy-wise, right? Like bigger than anything ever accomplished before. So just want to thank you first for that. My first question would be, as far as Cardone Ventures or the agency, is there any way that you guys provide a service where, let's say for networking, for example, where you're looking at collaboration of brands, sometimes it's just getting the right people to get the right glue to make it happen, where there's so many opportunities like that. And I was wondering if there's any, any ends on that, or any way you guys have an expertise that you could bring in on that.
On connecting with people?
Yeah, like sometimes just connecting 2 brands together, or basically where there's just so many opportunities like that. Like, I'm looking at an agency, something like Translation, where Steve Stout, like huge guy in the game, he made his pretty much his fortune. Like, if you want to look at the guys that are behind guys like Jay-Z or guys like that, those are the guys that made all these things happen, or these situations happen. Where sometimes,
so are you asking how you can? Are you asking how you can get better at doing that?
Person with a brand.
Yeah. So I'm just going to assume. I'm going to assume that your question is, how do you get better at being a connector? And how do you get better at seeing these opportunities? Like, creativity follows commitment. The more committed you are, the more you're going to see these opportunities. What Alex was talking about was he was talking about people that have built big companies and big brands and big names because of their ability to foresee something and then make the connection happen. So you need 2 things there. Number 1, you've got to be committed enough to get your creativity up to start thinking super strategically with how brands or companies or people or whatever align. Like, you have to be able to identify what the future holds for the future and the potential holds for a potential relationship. So you have to do that, number 1. Then number 2 is you have to make it happen. So then you actually have to go out and you have to be a great enough salesperson to pitch not just 1 person and get their agreement, but 2 people and get their agreement. So you have to, number 1, be able to have the vision. And then number 2, you have to be able to have the ability to make the connection. And you're probably going to need to learn how to sell in order to do that. Next caller.
You got Mo in North Carolina.
Mo from North Carolina, man. Thanks for calling the show today. What's your question? Mo, you there?
Building
Phones. Mo, you there?
North Carolina.
Hey. Is this us or is this? It's 2 in a row. Can we get another one? Who do we got?
All right, you got Balvin in Houston.
Balvin from Houston. Balvin, thanks for calling the show, brother. What's your question? Sister. Are the calls dropping from the phone system? All right, so we're not. The phones are having issues right now. Have them come in and take a look at that. It's ridiculous. So look, these are cardinal mistakes that you'll make in as employee. Unless you're going out and you're starting your own company, like, these are realities that you need to confront. Unless you are going to be the business owner, you have to confront these realities. That number one, you've never truly been goal focused. So then you don't really know how to be more effective. The more goal focused you are, I guarantee you, the more effective you'll be because you're committed to the goal. Creativity goes up, passion goes up, your insistence on things goes up. The push, the drive, the motivation, the inspiration you have goes up because you know why you're doing what you're doing. It's not just how to do what you're doing, you have to know why you're doing it. Every single day, this is a renewal of purpose. Number two, you work for companies that can't get you where you want. If you want to make $1 million a year and you cannot physically break 150 where you're at, you're in the wrong company unless you're learning something that's going to better prepare you to do that later down the road. And then number three, you truly are not doing enough. You've been sitting back, you've been lazy, you've been complacent, and you're not leaning into the opportunity like you should. Your fault. All three of these things, if you got all three of these things lined up, I freaking guarantee you, you would be successful far beyond what you believe you're capable of right now. Because very few do people have all three of these things in alignment, and then when they do, that's how you get the 1%. The 1% line all this up and they start pushing into the opportunity and they start getting paid for it. But it doesn't happen overnight. You know, these are things that take time. It takes time to build skill. It takes time to build experience. It takes time to have the wherewithal to be able to, like Alex was saying, to have the wherewithal and the ability to be able to find new opportunities for people to connect with each other. So the people that get all three of these working get what they want in life. And they're committed enough to their goal where they continue to look beyond the opportunity that they're in right now. And they can tell when that opportunity that they're in has stopped serving their ultimate purpose, which is to continue to grow. But most of the time, people aren't doing these three things, and they're capable of controlling all of them. So my advice to you, stop making dumb mistakes. If you're an employer, if you're a business owner, understand that these three things will make employees more successful working for you. And so if you can take control of some of these, number one, you can control the goal thing because you can enforce that conversation on them. Number two, you can continue to provide opportunities to give people more of what they want so that they can achieve their goals working for you. And then number three, well, a business owner can't really do anything of this but continue to train and develop their people. But you got to have opportunity, and you got to be able to connect the opportunity to the goal. So look, I appreciate you guys coming here every single week. You're so diligent. You're so faithful to the show. Do me a favor, if you like what you heard today, share it with a friend. Write a review write a review in iTunes. Share the podcast. Get the information out because, dude, life is too short to not live it where you want to be. And it's the littlest changes that make such a big difference. You know, we have businesses that we work with. We tell them to do one thing. We tell them to ask one question, and their business changes entirely. We had a guy that was in here in our sales deep dive. He took one question back to his business. The question was, have you seen enough to make a decision? That one question, and it tripled his business. Think about that. One single thing that he did in his business tripled what they were doing in revenue. What's that one thing for you? Imagine if you had two things that you did, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. But you have to be willing to change, and you have to be open to looking for the opportunity. And that is why we come here every single day, because we want to remind you of the opportunity. We want to remind you that you're probably settling for less than you're capable of or you deserve. And we want to remind you that there's a bunch of people out there that are grinding and pushing and shoving to do more, to get more, to be more, and to have a bigger impact. So go get you some. This is Young Hustlers. We'll see you right back next week. And remember, the only people who condemn the hustle are the ones who've given up on the hustle themselves.